Now available in paperback and Kindle. Vampires stalk the darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. I got a comment from a female viewer who was upset regarding my video where I took the son of a single mother to the barbecue. Now, this woman was extremely upset that she found out that I call out single mothers and wanted to say that I was one of those guys who produced what they call red pill content and I was a part of the manosphere. And this woman, because she found out that I went out here and was making content that she thought was red pill and fit the manosphere, wanted to go out and go into shaming language where she said, well, if you're calling out single mothers, why don't you call out the deadbeat dads? Well, my response to that woman is that I have been going out calling out single mothers as far back as about 2011, and this is something that I've been doing as part of my Men's Issues platform that I was doing ever since the days I was on Blogger writing blogs. And back then, I was writing classic blogs like Ways Single Mothers Destroy Their Sons, and a classic blog that went viral, Why Real Men Avoid Single Mothers, and both of those blogs were a major part of my Men's Issues Foundation that I established back in 2011, and I have been making this kind of content for many years, even before the whole concept of red pill, because I grew up in a neighborhood filled with single mothers, and as I grew up in that neighborhood filled with single mothers, I basically saw the dysfunction that these women enabled in their sons firsthand, so I can come from experience and call those experiences out regarding the behavior of these sons and the behavior that these single mothers enabled in their children. So when this woman was out here upset, she was thinking, oh, I'm making what they call red pill content. Again, I've been making this content for years, and I was invited to be a part of the manosphere a while back, but I've walked away from the manosphere and the red pill because both of those environments are extremely dysfunctional. When it came down to the manosphere, most of these men spent more time fighting each other rather than looking to build something to help shape men and help men improve the quality of their lives and teach men about manhood or masculinity. And when it came down to the whole red pill space, it was a space that was filled with a lot of racism, and it was an environment also which was not about trying to improve the quality of life for men. So I walked away from both of those platforms, but I still continue to talk about men's issues, and part of talking about men's issues is being able to give men the information that they need that will improve the quality of their lives. And that's what I was trying to do with that video, where I basically was not only taking that guy to the barbecue regarding him trying to tell me he's the son of a single mother and how he's got his college degree and his success, so he believes that it's not all the boys who come from single mother households that are dysfunctional, but I can tell you that there are always issues with guys who come from single mother households, and not only do they have issues, many people can see it, like the guys who do come from homes with fathers, or the women who come from homes with fathers, they can see those issues as related to those men because those men lack certain things that they were not taught by their fathers and they were not taught by the men in their community. And because those men were not taught those life skills, those men have lots of issues. And that basically is something that I saw every day growing up in the South Bronx and going to schools like IS 148 in the Bronx and Park West High School in Manhattan. And even when I was going to places like Taft High School and even on certain jobs, I could see this behavior. So I know what behavior these boys participate in, and I know what they're taught by their mothers, who is their first teacher. Now, this woman, as she was upset, wanted to go on and say, and ask the question to try to shame me, what about the deadbeat dads? Well, I have my own question to ask this viewer. Well, you're asking about what about the deadbeat dads? Well, what about the woman who basically chose this guy to get involved with? That's the critical question I want to ask regarding this woman's views on single mothers. What about the women who choose these men? What about the choices they make regarding the men they get involved with? Because you can't have a single mom without her making the choice to get involved with a deadbeat dude in the first place. And a lot of times, many women out here are getting involved with deadbeat dudes because they've been indoctrinated into white feminism. And as they're indoctrinated into white feminism, they basically believe they have a right to over their bodies to make choices of who they get involved with. Unfortunately, when they go out here and get involved with men, what happens is these women don't have a foundation on how to choose a partner, because in many cases they don't have a father in their lives to model manhood for them. Moreover, they don't have a man or a group of men in the community to vet the guys that they get involved with. So many of these women and these girls, as they are out here, they get emotional as they go out here and look to pursue boys and men. And what they do is choose a guy based on how they feel about that guy and how cute that guy is. And because they choose that guy based on how cute he is, or how handsome he is, or how fly they think his swagger is, they're not looking at this guy from a objective lens. No, they're looking at him from a rose-colored reality. And as they look at that guy from a rose-colored reality, they're not asking critical questions a man would answer based on the logical way they see this dude. And they're not going to bring that guy to a father or men in the community so that they can vet this dude. So they're just out here going out with this dude, and basically going out with this dude for two reasons. One is based on how they feel how cute or handsome he is, and two is based on the social currency they think they're going to receive from the other girls in their social circle. They basically are choosing this guy on some very dysfunctional criteria, and sadly, as they choose him on that dysfunctional criteria, they're not doing a good job of having anybody vet this guy to find out things about this man's values or his character, or find out if he's got any sort of way to basically look to lead a woman in a relationship. These are things that many girls and young women don't think about when they go out here and get involved with guys. They're not really thinking about this guy's values or his character, or what type of family he's coming from, nor are they thinking about what direction he wants to go in his life. And these are things a family has to think about, because if a man is supposed to be your head, a man is supposed to be the one who's supposed to be the one leading the family. Again, this is the role that God gave the man as the head, to be the leader and the steward in his order. If this man cannot be accountable for himself, then how can he be accountable to you? That's a critical question many young women and young teenage girls don't think about before they go out here and get involved with a guy. No, they're so caught up in their feelings about how cute this dude is that they're not thinking about what direction this dude is going in. No, they're not thinking about where this guy is going in his life. They're not asking questions, okay, what does he want to do with his life? What kind of job does this guy have? What does he plan on doing, and what steps is he taking in his life to achieve these goals? These are the questions most girls don't ask, because they're caught up in their hormones and caught up in their feelings. And as they're caught up in their hormones and their feelings, they're basically following the lead of a directionless man that's going nowhere. And as they're getting involved with that directionless man, what happens is this is where they go out here and drop the skid mark jockey draws and allow this guy to put the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor for his taste of the waste from the special place as they participate in nuclear fusion. And as a result, what happens is these women get pregnant for two reasons. One reason is that they get pregnant because basically it just happens out of nowhere, because this woman basically is so caught up in trying to hold on to this man and trying to get him to, again, look to bond with her in a relationship. And the other is they're so insecure, they go out here looking to willfully and intentionally get pregnant, hoping that by creating a covert contract where they think that if they go out here and have this man's baby, this will make this guy responsible. This is two of the ways girls become single mothers, and in both cases it usually winds up failing overall, because many of these girls can't connect the dot that you need to find out what this guy was like before you go out here and hope to try to make him commit by offering up your body in a sexual relationship. You need to find out what this guy is all about before you go out here and try to make this guy commit. And again, you shouldn't even be trying to make this guy commit. Things need to be flowing organically, because if he's a man of character, a man of character is going to want to commit to you in an honest fashion. However, these women wind up being extremely dishonest, and as they're dishonest, they're thinking that they can try to force a man to commit to them. Unfortunately, that just shows how insecure they are. It shows how insecure they are that they want to try to force this man to commit to them. But if this man really was somebody who really wanted to commit, again, he would have showed that in his actions. But you can't explain this to many of these girls, especially these modern women, who have basically followed this paradigm of failure that I talk about in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. They follow this paradigm of failure down the road to becoming single mothers, because they're trying to go out here and make a man commit who never really was not really interested in anything, because you didn't find out what he was about, because that's why we had fathers establish the whole situation regarding courtship. The fathers established courtship for their daughters to protect their daughters. Unfortunately, many of the feminists did not like the whole model of courtship. They thought that the model of courtship was too controlling, and they thought because the father wanted to control the daughters who got involved with his daughter through courtship, which was basically something that fathers did to, again, vet these guys to find out what these guys were about, what they were doing in their lives, and what direction they were going in their lives. That's what courtship was, where the guy had to actually sit down with the father and the mother and other men in the family and other men in business. They had to sit down with other men, and other men had to sit down and read this man to find out what he was about. That's what fathers established to protect their daughters. Unfortunately, many of the white feminists didn't like a father having that much power, and decided to say that they wanted to have the choice of what man they chose. Unfortunately, as they went out here and decided to choose men on their own, they wound up choosing a lot of the wrong men at the bottom of the social marketplace, and even worse, pushed those men from the bottom of the social marketplace to the top. And that's how we got all of these deadbeat guys who are now out here as the ones they sit there and want to say are the problem. But the whole thing is that many of these women don't want to take accountability for their actions. They don't want to take accountability for their actions regarding the men that they chose, the men that they chose to give their bodies to. Again, you'll have many women saying, my body, my choice, but they don't want to admit that they made bad choices regarding the men that they got involved with. And that's what the argument that this female viewer wanted to present regarding, oh, what about the deadbeat dudes? No, what about the women who make the choice to get involved with the deadbeat dudes? This is how they wound up becoming single mothers. They wound up becoming single mothers because they made the single choice to choose a man on their own without having any sort of male involvement, and thought they could go out here and choose a better man than having a father or other men involved. Because when it comes to choosing a partner, you really want to get a second opinion objectively from a father or another man, as related to that man's values and character. You want another man to sit down and talk to him, or other men to talk to him. And in the case of a man, you always want to try, in some cases, to talk to another woman regarding a woman you're involved with. That's why guys bring their woman to their mothers, because their mother will vet that woman and basically let you know if you're involved with a female predator. In some cases, she can basically identify this behavior because she knows other women the same way a man knows other men. And again, this is one of the things that I point out in my men's issues books for women as related to their behavior, like I do in The Woman Crisis and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. I talk in depth about this, and this is what this woman doesn't understand about my men's issues platform. My men's issues platform, again, is about trying to help men, like I did with the video that really caused a lot of controversy as related to the son of a single mom, where I was trying to teach that young brother about having to deal with rejection after he made the statement saying that women need to be nicer as related to rejecting them, and that's not going to happen. And again, if he had a man in his life, he would sit down and talk to him regarding that situation. And in the case of this woman who wants to sit there and go into shaming language, she basically is sitting here talking about, oh, it's manosphere and red pill content. Well, this is the kind of content that your son needed to hear from a father. And again, any good father would sit down with his son and teach him lessons about manhood, teach him lessons about masculinity, and teach him about being a man, because the only person who knows about manhood is another man, and that was created, and manhood was created by God as part of his patriarchal order. A man has to learn from other men, and that's what I'm trying to do here. But when I go out here and try to teach those type of lessons, this is where I get people like the son of a single mom getting upset, and I get people like this woman getting upset and trying to go into shaming language and want to go out here and say that I'm sounding bitter. No, I'm not sounding bitter at all. What I'm presenting to you is the truth. What I'm presenting to you as related to these videos is the truth regarding manhood and masculinity, lessons boys did not get for 3 generations, because the feminist movement basically thought that the woman could go out here and raise a boy to be a man, but they're not raising boys to become men. No, what they're raising is males out here who wind up becoming men in crisis who don't know what they're doing. And even worse, you're raising girls to become women who become women in crisis, creating a vicious cycle where these men in crisis get involved with these girls who get caught up in their emotions about how cute they are. And because they don't know how to have a relationship with boundaries set by their parents, who would basically vet individuals, what these girls do is get involved with these guys based on how cute they are. And as they get involved with these guys on how cute they are, what they do is go out here and participate in trying to make this relationship move forward by offering these guys up some sex as they drop, again, the skid mark jockey draws, and hope that this guy, by allowing this guy to put the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor for a taste of the waste from the special place, that this will basically lead to this guy wanting to commit to them. But that's a covert contract that never gets fulfilled, and even worse, as that contract never gets fulfilled because this woman never gets to see if this man respects her enough to marry her, because again, when a man respects a woman, he's going to offer to marry her. But what this woman wants to do is jump the gun, hoping that giving him some easy sex will lead to them getting closer, and eventually hope that this covert contract will be fulfilled and lead to them bonding together in a relationship. But that never really happens, and that's where these women wind up becoming pregnant, either again by choice as related to trying to force this man, or by fluke, by they just went out here and it's just happened because he wound up having sex with her, because both of them don't understand that sex basically is going to lead to you becoming pregnant, because this is basic reproduction, something I learned in the 8th grade. But these people, again, they don't learn this. They just think, oh, sex is just something done for pleasure, because they've bought into all the ideas from Madison Avenue in Hollywood, ideas from Madison Avenue in Hollywood that tell them that, oh, if you go out here and have sex with this man, it'll bring you closer. But if that man, the whole thing that's going to bring you closer is that respect that that man has for you. Because if that man truly respects you, he's going to want to marry you. And he's going to go make a vow to forsake all others to basically have you in his life. But many women, again, don't have faith in that man. They don't trust that man. And they basically look to rush things as related to things instead of seeing where things go, because they've invested all their feelings in a dude, invested all these feelings in a dude, hoping to basically force this guy to commit to them. But that just shows how they have no faith in this man, have no real love for this man, and wind up getting disappointed and angry at a man when, if they had a little patience, they could see where things go. And if they saw where things go, they could basically find out where this guy really was. Because with a lot of guys out here, what they're looking for is to be able to get the draws and have that pair of jockey draws on his mantle, have that jockey draws on his mantle and go on to the next one. Because that's the way that the cads and the womanizers think. They just want to go out here and be able to say they saw a lot of girls butt naked and basically got to be able to play with the dirty pillows and be able to say that they got to get their taste of the atomic waste and walk out with a glow-in-the-dark penis. That's basically all that these womanizers, cads, and whoremongers want. But the whole thing is quality, men. When they see a woman, they want to work with a woman and build with her. But many women don't ever have those kind of relationships because they just get caught up in their feelings about how cute a guy is without that father there to, again, tell her that there's more to a man being cute, because everything can get ugly with that man. That's what the lessons that girls don't get because they don't have a father in their lives. And again, this is not the words of a bitter man. This is the words of a guy who grew up in the South Bronx, grew up seeing many girls winding up with their hearts broken by that cute guy that they basically thought they could make commit by giving him some sex, and basically found themselves deeply disappointed after this guy got the draws and basically wound up deciding to bounce. And after he bounced, decided to bounce on the butt cheeks of the neck of their best friend or their sister. I mean, this is what they find out because they don't really take the time and have the patience to find out what relationships are like. And many of them weren't even ready for relationships because some of these girls were like 12, 14 years old that were doing this back in the day. And they became single mothers. And again, I speak against single mothers because I see firsthand the destruction that they did growing up in the South Bronx. I see the statistics as related to single mothers from all of my research on my books like Stop Simping, The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, and why 70% of black women are single. I see the damage that's done from the statistics, which I was told, again, when I was doing a radio show, again, back about 2015, 14 or 15 or so. I remember the host telling me 80% of the inmates in jail were mostly people from single mother households. I know from my personal research for the Man Crisis, 100% of the mass shooters come from homes from single mothers or divorced households. And I know many of the sexual predators came from single mother households. And again, many of these boys who come from single mother households basically grew up dysfunctional because their mom couldn't teach them about manhood. And as they learned manhood from a woman, this is what led to them becoming predators who basically preyed on their community because they didn't learn how to be leaders. And as they learned how to be followers, they basically were chasing behind women and not looking to look for a woman who would help meet their needs. No, they were looking for women to go out here and use. And again, this is all truth that I'm telling from, again, my life experience, and again, goes beyond the red pill, goes beyond the manosphere, because what I want to do is help improve the quality of life for the next generation of men, help improve the quality of life for the next generation of men so that they can become better men and they can wind up avoiding those pitfalls and traps that lead to boys winding up with their lives completely ruined because they grew up in a single mother household, and possibly help many of these guys who were sons of single mothers, because there's other guys who were sons of single mothers who basically take the information I give them and they use it and they help improve their quality of life because they finally are getting the information that they desperately needed 25 years ago, or even just 5 or 10 years ago, because sometimes I got teenage guys who are basically sitting there, they're saying, hey, thank you for giving me this information because I never got this from anybody out here. And basically I'm trying to help these guys out because they don't have a man in their life. And the whole thing is, you can lose years of time as a guy out here. You can lose years of time out here basically by just not having nobody there to teach you. You can lose years of your life because you don't get the male life skills and male survival skills. And that's not anything bitter I'm doing. No, I do this out of love. I do this out of love for other men and love for men, because I want to see those men live an abundant life that God wants us all to live. I want to see those men live the best life possible, and I want to see those men be able to actualize their potential as men. That's what I want to do with these videos. And while some people may think that what I'm saying is bitter and shaming language, no, all I'm trying to do is give you the truth so that you can go out here and know what the reality is for men and the reality for life for men, because this gynocentric media for years has always been telling us everything from the woman's perspective, and the woman's perspective of the feminist basically is filled with lies that keep you from hearing the truth. And when you hear the truth, you have to understand that those guys like myself are not coming from a place of shaming language, but we come from a place of love, a love for all other men, to help them be the best men they can possibly be. Now, if you want to learn how to break out of vicious cycles as related to the paradigm of failure, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and The Woman Crisis, to learn how many women think like this female viewer and how they get these messed up perceptions of reality as related to the relationships between men and women. And if you want to learn how to break out of other vicious cycles, you can pick up my other men's issues books, like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Manginas, The Misadventures of Captain Save-'em, and other books like Stop Simping in the Workplace and Stop Simping in Cyberspace. All those books have transformed the lives of men all across the globe, and they can transform your life and help you take your life to the next level. And if you'd like to see me make more men's issues videos like this, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband, and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.